You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Hi everybody, how's it going? Got Chief Jones guy showing you his butt again. It's Christmas Eve morning, and still in the middle of that storm outside. Luckily, we've only got like a foot of snow on the east side of town here. The west side of town, I guess, has been getting hammered pretty hard. Luckily, it's the bay right here. I'm less than a block away from the water, so that's helping quite a bit. And we got about a foot of snow, but it's butt cold outside. The family is supposed to show up about 1-ish. I think it's 9-ish now. So I'm gonna do this video, and then I gotta go out and shovel once more. And I already been out this morning, and I was hoping my favorite coffee shop would be open today, but alas, they were closed. I guess everybody gets to enjoy a holiday a little bit. So I went to the gas station and got my foo-foo coffee from there. But those of you who watched me for the past 10 months or so, you know, I'm learning. I'm technically I'm intermediate with what I know, but essentially I'm a beginner because hands-on. You know, I'm doing hands-on now, and I'm learning stuff. You know, I wish I would have kept going when I initially started this in my youth, because I'd be quite advanced by now. But again, I'm a beginner. So I tried all those hacks with muffling the drums and trying to get a sound, the process sound out of it by using bubble wrap, by using swim noodles and moon gels like you wouldn't believe. I don't like putting tape on my heads at all. I like keeping my heads clean, hence the reason why I did that video the other day about cleaning heads, because I can't stand the dirt, I can't stand the wear marks. So, but the thing with snares are harder to tune for me because there's more to it. Snares are, you know, people been doing this for 100 years, say snares are easy to tune. Well, that's fine and dandy because you've been doing it 100 years. I haven't. Toms, very forgiving. I've got them in a happy place. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I know how to tune the toms now really well. Snares, I'm still learning, and I'm still watching like Sounds Like a Drum and a lot of these other channels to try to pick up little hints and ways to help me along. So I took all that crap off the snare drums, and last night I've got about 10 drum keys, and I really have to make a key that'll fit my power drill, because I went through all my snares, swapping heads, changing wires, putting smaller wires on larger drums, doing all sorts of stuff, and trying to get it tuned up, get them all tuned up without any muffling, so they're pleasing to my ear without the additional crap on it. And then once I get them tuned up to where I like them, then if I want to add muffling to it, I just throw a moon gel on there and call her good. But I want to go through my snares. I've got 5, and I want to go through and show you what I've got and what I've come up with. And it's been pretty interesting, and I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot more. So let's go through that real quick. And which one should, let's start off with, we start off with my first steel drum. This is a chrome over steel. It's 14 by 5 Premier Olympic 1006. And this one has a UV1 on the batter. I like Evans heads. I prefer Remo ambassadors on the snare side. And I like the UV one, it's a good head. It's not my favorite head, and one of the things I've learned is trying to find my own sound, like the type of music I like. I like bluesy rock the best. I like doing shuffles. I'm learning shuffles, and and I like the sound that I've come up with out of all the different. I'm very fortunate because I have 8 or 9 different types of snare heads. Most are all brand new, and I determined that with all the different brands of Remo, Evans, and Aquarian, that my go-to snare head now will be an Evans HD Dry. It's just better for my ears. And if I come down and play a couple songs, the HD Dries put off a really good sound, but they're not overly loud. And so if I just play a couple songs, I kind of get away with not using hearing protection, and I don't get a headache or it doesn't bother my ears. I know you're always supposed to wear hearing protection when you play drums, especially my age. You know, I'm almost 55, so. But HD Dry has that sound that I like. It more so than the other heads, even more so than the hydraulic snare head, which still sounds all right, but just something about those dries. And I'm glad I cleaned up those ones yesterday because they've come back on the heads. Now I've got brand new heads sitting over there in my extra pile and used heads sitting on some of my drums. But again, this is the Premier Olympic 1006 with an Evans UV1 on it. And there's no dampening, no nothing on it. I really like this drum. This drum really hasn't disappointed me at all. Only thing I don't like on it, because it has this Ludwig P85, and either the back plate and the screws are missing, or it just never came with that. And on this side of the snare drum, I have to use the flipping straps, and I hate them. But I put new Pure Sound straps on the other side, and that makes me happy. And of course, I cut them on an angle because, you know, looks are cooler. But I've always been happy with this snare drum, and it's a wonderful addition to my collection. And it's a Premier. You're welcome. Now, all my drums are used. Every single one of them are used, and I even my drum sets. And I've never had that brand new drum experience. You know, brand new drum with the label on it. So let's say, take Premier for example. Box with Premier drums on it. Open up, there's a brand new snare drum. I've never had that feeling. However, this May is my birthday, and I turned the big 5-5, so technically I'm a senior citizen. I'm going to order out of England from Gear for Music, who owns the copyright, or owns the name and the brand of Premier now. Granted, it's not the actual real Premier drums that been out for 100,000 years, but it's their brand, their version of it, and they're just marked Premier drums. It's not Premier made in England, just Premier drums. But I'm going to order my first brand new drum from them. It's going to be a snare, probably a 14 by 6.5 or a 14 by 8, a real deep wood one. I'm not sure if it was poplar or birch. I think it was probably poplar, but I'm going to order my first brand new one, and that's only like 150, 140, 150 bucks, something like that. And if I get the smaller one, I could actually weasel in a second snare drum, brand new one, from what's the brand? WH something, I don't know. It's not one of Gear for Music's brand. Or maybe even get a Natal, who knows, one of the inexpensive Natal ones. But all right, let's move on. And I'm looking forward to my birthday, so not because I'm getting older, just because I get a brand new drum for once. Okay, this snare is my first snare when I got with that $30 drum kit from Goodwill. Drum Zone, which I promptly took off all the badges because, you know, made in Japan kit or made in China kit, and nobody wants to see a Drum Zone brand. Okay, but the funny thing is, that Drum Zone brand, the no name, or the stencil kit, what do you call them? Most of the drums out there are stencil kits, all right? There's only a couple companies like in China or Taiwan or Japan that make these drums, okay? Let's say Ludwig orders a whole bunch of beginner sets, okay? Well, we'll just put them badges on, Ludwig badges on these, put Pearl badges on these, put Tama badges on those. You'd be surprised, you might have an inexpensive Tama Imperial Star, but it's probably made in the same place my Drum Zone one was. It's just got a different badge on it. So don't ever sit there and think if you have an inexpensive drum set and it's got this Tama badge or Pearl badge or Ludwig, that it's better than a no-name one, because, you know, they're probably made in the same place. But this is the Drum Zone, and this is odd. It's a 14 by 5, However, it's poplar. It only has 6 lugs, which is kind of odd. It's the only drum I don't have any 10 lug snares. Mine are all 8, and I have one 6 lug. This one's been very easy to tune, very easy to deal with. It's never given me any problems, and it's got the built-in muffler on it. And this one is sporting an Evans hydraulic head, and this one just goes well with this drum for some reason. So I opted to put this one back on. But this is the one I refinished, and she still looks beautiful. I like this. I like the Evans heads, or the Evans hydraulic head, not as much as the HD-Dry, but this is still a nice head. And this is what she sounds like. Got a really nice sound to it. And when I do like doing my little bluesy things, a lot of the songs that I do, the hydraulic and the HD-Dry, I like to use with it because it gives a little fatter sound, and it mixes in a lot better. But that's her. She looks nice. All right, next, this is my 13x4 Sound Percussion Lab one. This is the first one that I stripped the shell on, and that's that honey oak finish. And this is an interesting little drum. When I first got it, it was a firecracker. I mean, it was louder than can be. And it's only 13. It's got 8 lugs on it. And this one came initially with an Evans HD-Dry. It was used, of course. It was really dirty head. And this is one of the ones I cleaned up yesterday. And I took an Evans heavyweight off it, and I put this one back on. This one also has the Pure Sound equalizers on it, and I have a piece of painter's tape on the one edge. And the reason for that is it helps to cut down a little bit on extra tone and noise, and not tone, I'm sorry, but extra little noise associated with snare drums, because I'm just learning. I mean, snares for me can be kind of hard. I'm trying to teach myself this without all the dampening and crap. Things I do have to do, I have to switch out these straps. I did cut some ones out of that drum shell, or the drum wrap that I took off the Sound Percussion kit, and I'm going to redo it and put them in black. I really don't like the plastic straps. I like the fabric ones. But this one is pretty nice, and like most of my snares, it has Remo Ambassador on the Rezo side. And I really like those ambassadors, more so than anything else on the Rezos. But again, like I said about finding your sound, this is the HD-Dry, and for some reason, this is the head I think that fits my sound. Yeah, I like that little one. Before I didn't though. I mean, every time I hit it, it just like triggered my PTSD. It just was like a gunshot going off right next to me. But I'm happy with it now, and that HD-Dry is very forgiving, and it kind of covers up any mistakes I make with the tuning of it. Really simple throw off. It's a very inexpensive drum, but it does have, I like the tension lugs on it for tightening your wires. It's a lot better than she used to be. Now, here's my newest edition, which was that used Ludwig Accent CS. It's a 14 by 6.5, my first thick boy, and I really like, I think that's gonna be my preferred sound, or preferred size for my preferred sound. There we go. 14 and 6 by 6.5. I just like it's got a little oompier sound to it, and I did buy that head, or the Aquarian head, that single ply head for this one specifically. I thought I'd be able to handle dealing with that a little bit better. But when I was doing all the head swaps, the one head I cleaned up, the level 360, this is the one that it came with. And after I cleaned it up and I put it back on, it just felt like this is the head that this one should have. So that's what she's got on her now. Let me look on the bottom real quick, see what we got. Okay, and of course, the single strip across there, and there's the snare protection, the head protection for the snare wires, and that's an Aquarian reso on it. And I don't have a problem with the Aquarian reso, but this is what she sounds like. I really, really like this snare drum. It's just fantastic. It's really hasn't given me any problems. Like I said, I'm learning, just trying to get the idiosyncrasies of snare tuning down, and I'm slowly getting there. I'm not there, and by all means, no one really done this before for me, but by all means, if you see me doing something wrong, or there's a better way for me to do it, or maybe I was kind of doing it right but went off in the wrong direction, please tell me in the comments. By all means, if you've got something to say to me, please say it in the comments, whether it be good or bad. I mean, I'm pretty thick-skinned. I can take it, as long as you don't try to get personal and get stupid, then I'm going to tear you up. But if I'm making a mistake with tuning or these drums or anyway, please say something. Or if you found a better way, I take criticism very well if it's honest, you know. And again, I'm new to this, so don't hesitate. And last but not least, and the heaviest one, this is my Premier XBK. You're welcome. Isn't she beautiful? This one, I had bought that Aquarian high energy head for it, because high energy heads were made for steel snare drums, supposedly. Maybe it's me, but that head was absolutely horrible on this one. I just could not find a happy place with it. And the funny thing is, because this snare drum out of all of them was the most problematic, the overtones and the ringing, and it was just a pain in the ass. And I thought that thicker, stranger head would help out a little bit more. The funny thing is, the head that I bought for my Ludwig 6.5 by 14, the single ply Aquarian actually sounds better on this. So I took that new head I just ordered and I put it on this, and it makes me a lot happier, I'll say that. But I also did something strange on this one. Now, one of the videos I was watching yesterday, they were talking about snare wires, and you have a 14-inch snare drum. Do you have to put 14-inch wires on it? No, you don't. Your drums, you can do anything you damn well want, but what he did, he put 13-inch wires on a 14-inch drum to help control it, maybe the over-ring or the over, you know, to help control it a little bit. And so I thought that'd be kind of interesting to try. So I had 14-inch pure sound wires on this, but I tried something a little different. I took the 13-inch wires, the 13-inch wires that came on that sound percussion snare, I swapped with pure sounds, and I took the original wires that it came with and I put them on this. Those are 13-inch wires on a 14-inch drum. And of course I've got the strip of tape to help chill it out a little bit. And since it was shorter wires, I also put a piece of tape underneath the edges of the snare wires, just for the fact those little soldering spots wouldn't cause a hole, because that's a Premier head on the reso, and I don't want to damage that one at all, because that's pretty hard to come by. But I put 13-inch wires on this one and a single ply head of my most difficult snare drum. I thought, what the hell? And then I hit it. Holy crap, you know, wow, that was different. You know, it's single ply head, smaller snare wires, it tamed it right down. and it just blew my mind. And it was interesting learning these things. And again, unless you actually do it, how are you going to learn for yourself? So I'm really pleased how that's turned out. But anyways, those are my 5 snares. Now I've got to pack them back over there on my little rack. I'm trying to tidy up everything down here because since I moved everything around a little bit, I've got a lot more space. As my wife said, it looked too congested with 3 sets of drums sitting there. So now it doesn't look congested. And the way I have them stacked, I could actually get another set of drums down the road. So we'll see about that. Is she listening? I'm going to get a 4th drum set, whether she likes it or not. So whatever. But anyways, I'm Todd, the cheap drums guy. And like I said, people, if you see I'm doing something wrong or think I could do something better, by all means, please tell me in the comments. Like I said, I'm thick-skinned and I listen. If it's common sense approach to something, by all means, I want to do it. But anyways, for those of you who celebrate this holiday, Merry Christmas to you. And those of you who don't, happy holiday season to you. And I'll see you after I get the damn family out of the house. Be safe out there, people.